Today is a cloudy autumn-like October 18th, 2023. Made an impromptu visit to a famous northern New Jersey location. This is the Hollywood Avenue crossing in Ho-ho-kus. You can see the famous signals back there, and this 3-track main of the Mainline, Bergen County and Port Jervis line, where you can see all kinds of diesel power. A lot of old stuff, Jeep 40s and F40s. Oh, it's just if you like classic diesels, this line is probably the cream of the crop. And this is in the town of Ho-ho-kus, New Jersey. The correct spelling is with hyphens, Ho-ho-kus. You gotta have hyphens in between them, otherwise you're gonna be a giveaway of being an out-of-towner. And to say Ho-ho-kus backwards is like someone having a bad day. Suck! Oh! Well, let's say it forwards. It brings forth good luck with hopefully some good locomotive rail fanning. Well, coming at 2:10, this should be 11:18 from Suffering to Hoboken. And he's got some good stuff on the back. Trailing was F40PH-3C 4909. If he wasn't in college right now, I'd be drowning in foam at this location if he was here. The gates are going down at 2:17. This should be for train 1272 from Waldwick to Hoboken. Showing us PL42AC by Alstom. Troublesome locomotives. Starting to get some good color here. Give it another week. I can hear 1157 in the station. Here he comes. Hoboken to Suffering. New Jersey Transit loves the K5LA horn, but there are a few other varieties. S3Ls, RS3Ls, K5LLAs, K5LLBs. Hopefully I'll get to hear some of those. That means a few heritage units. This sounds like a Jeep. Well, we've seen consecutively numbered Metro North F40PH-3Cs, 4909 and 4910, rounding Collins Curve, heading to Waldwick. That nice unrestricted K5LA is heralding the approach of train 1213, Hoboken to Waldwick. Just around the S-curve from here. That's a sweet, mellow-sounding K5LA. just about seen virtually all of the Metro North painted F40 PH-3Cs. And the three that I've seen have been consecutively numbered: 4909, 4910, and that 4911. Some clever way of identifying the operator of the trains on this line. A little hard to bend that one spike to make it look sort of like a J. Well, 305, get a going away shot of train 1120 from Suffern to Hoboken. Should be a busy next 30 minutes through here. Should also see French onion soup on 64. Shoving is an AOP 45 DP. Yeah, the locomotives definitely have better K5 LAs than a lot of these cab cars do. 315, here comes 49. Hoboken to Middletown. It's got a GP40 FH2 on the point. Scratch that. He's got the lone Metro North painted GP40 PH-2, 4906. Here comes 1159 for Suffern at 326 with a rather wimpish PL42 AC horn. Didn't sound too bad, actually. Approaching, running, oh, he's doing Ridgewood at 320. I got 333. This should be 64. Port Jervis, Hoboken. And sadly, French onion soup is off today. That Comet 5 has a good K5 LA horn. Talking about the French onion soup engineer, I mean, he loves to eat it. Whenever he goes into a restaurant, you know, you remember that character years ago that had that kid show, Soupy Sales? Well, when that engineer goes to a restaurant, that establishment makes soupy sales. The location now is, well, we're just around the bend from Waldwick, which is that away. We're actually in Allendale, just east of the Chestnut Street crossing. The tracks you're looking at in the background, that's the storage yard at Waldwick. Years ago, Erie Lackawanna trains used to terminate there and tie up and keep their equipment in the yard. It was a busy place. They had a Y track there. I remember seeing E8s and GP7s and RS3s turning on the Y track at Waldwick. And this is also the location where WC Tower is, or was. It's a museum now, but WC Tower, I remember back in Erie Lackawanna days, used to be an active interlocking on the first and second shift On the third shift, it was put on automatic. But this was a very busy line in the early 70s with the weekday commuter operations, plus all the Erie-Lackawanna freight trains with their assortment of beautifully painted motive power. Missed that railroad terribly. All right, at 4:15, approaching out of Waldwick Station is train 1161. Hoboken to Suffern. He's got one of the newer ALP 45 DPs with the LED lights on them. No mistaking those. About to round the sweeping curve here, approaching Chestnut Street crossing. Back in 1970, I heard Erie-Lackawanna freights blowing their horns for this crossing while I was standing on the platform at Waldwick Station. The tower was still open back then. Here comes train 1122, Suffern to Hoboken at 4:22. Well, 4:29, here comes train 66 from Middletown to Hoboken. We're just east of Chestnut Street, or west of Chestnut Street. Have 1178, not too far behind from Suffern to Hoboken. We'll stick around for 51, the first of the Port Jervis rush hour fleet. Okay, 441, approaching is train 51, Hoboken to Port Jervis, the leader of the rush hour fleet to Port Jervis. These trains usually have the older power. Here comes 1178 from Suffern to Hoboken to my right. We're now further west. We're just west of Ramsey, New Jersey, by the Gertson Plaza grade crossing. Ramsey has 2 grade crossings. Between Ridgewood Junction and Suffern, there are 5 grade crossings. Warren Avenue, Hollywood Avenue, Chestnut Street, Main Street, Ramsey, and this one. So we pretty much accounted for all 5 crossings on this section. We're approaching, bound for Hoboken, is train 1124, originates at Suffern. Right, approaching now at 5:10 is train 1117, Hoboken to Suffern. He's pulling out of Ramsey, blowing for Main Street. They've got some pretty decent K5 LAs. shortly we should have 53, the second Port Jervis rush hour train going through. And at 5:30, running a little late, is train 53, Hoboken to Port Jervis. And another F40 PH-3C. That's 4 different ones I've seen from Metro North. We're now at the historic Ramsey Depot in downtown Ramsey, New Jersey. Notice how clean these platforms are. I heard they clean these platforms every other day to clean all the foam off of it. There are so many Railfan foamers hanging around this place. Here comes train 1165, Hoboken to Suffern at 5:48. He's got his dynamic brakes working. The breathing of those EMDs. GP40 FH2 4904. This was the engine that made French onion soup famous. I coined that nickname for him back in October of 2020, right here. That's got one of the worst horns on New Jersey Transit. Well, at 5:55, approaching his train 55, Hoboken to Port Jervis. He's got an approach signal here, so he won't be going terribly fast. But he's got some kind of a General Motors product. Superior General Motors product. Looks like it might be another F40. I've seen plenty of them today. Approaching at 6:12 is train 1167, Hoboken to Suffern. Sounds like another EMD. Judging by the position of the headlight and ditch lights, I'd say it's another F40 or something. Be nice if one of the cats came through. comes another F40 PH-3C in Metro North colors. 4911. Saw him earlier. Ah, 4911's got a great K5LA. Approaching now at 6:26 is train 57 from Hoboken to Port Jervis. He'll be stopping shortly at Ramsey Route 17. Definitely's got a classic Jeep on him. Yeah, so far all the EMDs I've seen are Metro North painted. I haven't seen any New Jersey Transit gray or Heritage units or anything. Hopefully I'll get lucky before I go. Oh, here's our good friend 4904, GP40 FH2, doing the honor shoving this train to Hoboken. Great to see those things earning their keep still. I hope to hear a lot of older EMDs next week. Well, time is 7:30 now. I went to dinner a little while ago, passed up trains 59 and 61 and a couple other trains, but the power was nothing spectacular. DPs mostly. I think there was one F40. But I've been tipped off that some more interesting motor power will be seen the rest of the evening. And I'm out just in time to catch 63 to Port Jervis. Here comes 63 at 7:33. I've seen just about all of the Metro North F40 PH-3Cs today. Haven't seen anything New Jersey Transit oriented in the GM category, but I think train 1125 will take care of that. All right, 737, approaching his train 1173. Hoboken is suffering, he's running a little ahead of schedule. Those LED lights tell me a great deal about what the motive power is. ALP 45 DPs. I'm told they're extraordinary fuel guzzlers in diesel mode. Train is somewhat unusual in that it stopped keeping the gates down here. They usually go up. They usually stop further back. Well, in another 15 minutes, 11:25 should be coming in from Hoboken to Suffern, and hopefully what I've been seeing on chats, the motor power on that will be extraordinary. All right, it's 7:58 p.m. Sounds like a General Motors diesel approaching his train 11:25. Let's see if the motor power that people were expecting on this train turns out to be as spectacular as they make it out to be. It's not the 4210, but maybe it'll be the next best thing. We shall see. It is. Well, 8:15, here comes train 1175, Hoboken to Suffern. Sounds like he's got a Jeep also. The more the merrier. They need something like what Caltrain has. When they sound the horn, the gates go down automatically without having to worry about creeping up to the circuit. Wondering why the horn didn't sound too good. It was 4904. 847, here comes train 1127, Hoboken to Suffern. Should have 1134 going the other way. He'll have the 4101 shoving. He'll be here in a few minutes. Not even Caltrain has this much motive power variety. They just have F40 Screamers, F40PH-2 Cats, and a few F40PH-2Cs, plus the MP36s. Okay, this main line through Ramsey sees quite a bit of service today. When I think about what it was like in the early 70s, I mean, weekday service through here wasn't too bad, although you didn't have very good evening service back to Hoboken after about 6:30 in the evening. You didn't have anything back for another 3.5 hours, like after 10 o'clock. And on Saturdays, you had 4 trains each way and nothing on Sundays. Okay, 858, approaching towards Hoboken is 1134. Suffern Hoboken with our good friend 4101 shoving on the rear. I've simply run out of adjectives. H70 usually runs out the other way from Croxton to Campbell Hall. Quite a horsepower per ton ratio on that thing. I was driving it off and I noticed the signal to the east was lit and there was nothing due, so I turned around and came right back. This could be the H70. This H70 runs from Croxton to Campbell Hall, New York, and it's had a lot of weird motor power on it lately. Usually it has a pair of SD60Es, but recently it had the audacity to have the Virginian Heritage unit on it. Sometimes it has an ES40 DC or an SD70 ACE, but usually it has those damn 6900 brow beaters. Now my day is complete. Sure enough, he had a couple of those SD60E brow beaters on him. I like EMDs, but I hate the looks of those damn things.